So welcome, 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 our beloved and brilliant colleague, Maureen. We so appreciate your consistent leadership and commitment to community economic development. And as always at SETC, we begin all things by acknowledging our creator, by acknowledging the original stewards of the various lands we're on. We acknowledge all our ancestors, all those who toiled without compassion or compensation. We acknowledge all our elders and community stalwarts whose shoulders we stand on as we build, share, and learn together for our collective liberation and sovereignty. So Maureen, can you please introduce yourself to our listeners and viewers and share a bit about your remarkable work?
Oh, Victor, thank you so much. And I love that acknowledgement that you just gave. That was so beautiful. And I'm actually calling in today from the traditional territories of the Lekwungen speaking people here on southern Vancouver Island, and represented by the Songhees, the Esquimalt, and the Wasanich peoples, and of course many other amazing elders and community members for sure. So my name is Maureen Young, and I'm the Vice President of Social Purpose at Coast Capital Savings. And that is quite a unique title that represents a bit of a sea change for business, a new way of doing business here in Canada, but starting to grow as well across the globe. So in my portfolio, I'm responsible for our social purpose strategy and implementation, but I also hold responsibility for our B Corp certification, because we are a certified B Corp, as well as our philanthropy and our climate action. We're a net zero organization committed to hit net zero by 2050.
That's absolutely incredible. Thank you so much for your candor, your leadership, and all that context. So my next question is, what's inspiring you right now in your work? What has you curious, or what's keeping you up at nights?
Yeah, I mean, I hinted a little there in my opening around this great journey that we're on at Coast Capital to deeply embed social purpose into our organization. And maybe just to situate that for your listeners, social purpose business model is a little different than what we might have heard of around a corporate purpose. So corporate purposes have been around for a really long time, and often are situated on creating maybe the best product, or meeting your customers' needs better than anyone else. Those sorts of types of statements. Being a social purpose company means that you're trying to drive societal impact, not just impact for your customers or your employees, but you really want to actually contribute to solving a societal problem and be part of that solution. And the other thing that's unique about a social purpose business model is that you are driving impact not only through your corporate social responsibility programs, which for most organizations sit on the side of the company, but you're actually trying to drive impact through every aspect of your operation. So that is inspiring to me. I have been with Coast for coming up to 22 years. And I have been deeply involved in leading the sustainability and corporate social responsibility programs at Coast during that period. And so for this last 3 years, to be really embedding impact now, beyond the CSR programs and through our products and services, through our policies and our practices and our, all aspects of our organization, it's pioneering. So I'm up a lot at night thinking about, what else, what did we miss? What's you inevitably encounter some challenges along the way. So, those are all things that keep me, mind spinning at all times. But very inspirational, and what an incredible opportunity at 22 years at Coast to have this. This is a highlight of my career, I would say, to be able to be a part of the journey that Coast Capital's on.
That's incredible. Thank you so much. I appreciate all that, and remarkable work. And thank you for the distinction. A lot of times people use these terminologies almost interchangeably. Corporate social responsibility versus social purpose. So providing that context also edifies our listeners and viewers and raises the conversation. So once again, I appreciate your leadership as always. So my next question, what challenges and barriers do you face in your work? And what are some of the ways you and your team are working to overcome some of these challenges and barriers?
Well, I think part of any kind of transformation that you lead, it's a big change for an organization and for the community that you're serving. And so, there's work that we need to do to make sure that we're bringing all of our partners, our employees, our community members, our community partners along that journey with us. So we're I think you can always do better. I'm always looking at how can we, for example, help make the social purpose more tangible and part of the experience that an employee might have, no matter where they are in the organization. I'm living and breathing it every day, so is my team. So how can we really more deeply embed it into the culture? So those would be some of the things that we're working on right now. As an example, we are in the process of building that purpose and culture engagement plan for our organization. Will be a multi-year plan, and thinking about how we can embed purpose into all of the employee roles so that they can understand that the unique contribution that they make to purpose, regardless of where they're at. So some of our employees, of course, are on the front line and delivering on our purpose directly to our members. And then others are in the back office working on building the enabling systems and policies and sort of the underlying structures that enable our organization to deliver on purpose. So those would be, certainly it's the challenge, but also the opportunity. And what we find is that with every employee who has that light bulb moment, then that ripples out to the team that they work with, and you start to see that, aha, I got it. Here we go. So yeah, it's a big job. We've got 2,000 employees, and we're distributed across, a number of different branches and offices. So, and a lot of us now, of course, from COVID times, working remotely. So, those all pose new challenges for you as you look to engage and really drive that culture that's going to support our purpose delivery.
That's incredible. So do you have a set of key priorities right now that are top of mind that you'd love to share with our colleagues?
Yes. So the last 3 years, we've been, putting purpose into our strategy, into our performance measurement, into our values, into our brand, of course, into our KPIs. So all of those foundational elements that are going to support you to really authentically bring that purpose to life. And I should probably take a moment just to say what our purpose is. And that was a big exercise, a listening exercise and consultation exercise with our many stakeholders. And so what we did was we thought about what are the challenges that people are facing in Canada today. And of course, we know what those are. There are a lot of economic challenges, a lot of systemic inequities that are keeping people from being able to thrive. And then on the other hand, we looked at what are we uniquely positioned to do? What are our unique capabilities and points of expertise as a financial institution? And it's in the intersection of those two areas that our purpose was born in. So our purpose is to build better futures together. That's important because we are a member-based organization working in community. And our vision is to unlock financial opportunities to positively impact people and communities. And we're really taking aim at income inequality and how can we support more people to get ahead. So our priorities right now, we've identified 3, we're calling them sort of our strategic pillars. that we are advancing. One is around accessible education, understanding the role that education, upskilling, and reskilling can play in positioning people to improve their financial health and to grow their incomes, particularly as we're seeing, the shift to, a digitized world, automation, AI. Let's not forget that. Never mind the shift to a low carbon economy. So there's a lot of transition that people are needing to get their heads around, and education and upskilling and reskilling, and ensuring people have equitable access to those opportunities is really key. So that's one pillar. Second pillar is around equitable employment. Most people derive their income from work, and we need work to work harder for them. And so really looking at how, first of all, we can lead by example, right? As a progressive employer, how can we make our organization the best place to work, where you've got flexible work arrangements, great pay and benefits, that you've got opportunities to career path and map out the career and achieve the career that you want. So that's really an important thing. And then how can we help others to adopt practices that are going to similarly position their workplaces in a way that supports everyone. And then the last pillar, and this is really core to our business, is making sure that people have access to the financial services, the products, the services, the advice that are going to help them to, understand how to access, banking services, but really to make sure people have the opportunity to fuel their aspirations. And so those are our three priorities. One last one that I would say is sort of a wraparound, is we are trying to grow the purpose economy. So we not only have adopted a purpose ourselves, but we really want more businesses in Canada to do the same, because we think this is one of the ways that that we can tackle some of the big challenges that we face as a society. And business, is very well positioned to make a meaningful difference. And so that's another big priority for us.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more. Every time I talk to my colleague Coro Strandberg, this is the heart of our conversation. So thank you for all that context and sharing those priorities. Really appreciate you. So my next question: how do you feel about the future of credit unions in Canada? Are you hopeful? Are you optimistic? Are you pessimistic? How do you feel about it?
Well, I'm very optimistic. It's not to say that it's not a challenging environment. It certainly is. Credit unions have to grapple with a lot of, some of those same challenges that I described earlier that people face around digitization, automation, AI. I think our members are looking for, incredible access to, for example, the digital banking services. So credit unions have to be able to put all of those systems in place and meet those expectations. So that's a high bar. But what I think is so exciting about credit unions, and I'm hoping that this next chapter for credit unions really starts to define what a modern financial cooperative really looks like, because in the face of everything that we have going on in Canada, credit unions are member-based, community-based organizations that right in their DNA are established to meet unmet needs in the community. And I think that this is the opportunity for credit unions to really shine and to present themselves to Canadians as a meaningful way to support, the growth of our country. I think credit unions. This is the time for credit unions for sure.
I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. Thank you for that. So my next question is, what is your ultimate goal and what does success look like and feel like to you and your colleague?
Well, the goal that we have is a huge one and it's long term. And that, we're not measuring this by quarters or, by next year's performance, although of course we track um, lots of metrics. We're working towards a long-term goal. We've actually established a 2040 goal. And that goal is that people and businesses in Canada will have the incomes and the financial opportunities to thrive today, but also for tomorrow. So really, it's quite an expansive goal. We won't be able to achieve meaningful progress toward that goal on our own. And so, by very nature of having a goal that is a broad societal ambition, it really indicates that we've got to collaborate and work with others across the ecosystem to make it happen. That's incredibly exciting. It's opening up all kinds of new conversations for us with organizations right across the country and thinking about really innovative ways that we can make that happen. We do, I referenced earlier, some of the metrics that we're pursuing. One of the things that we've been involved in the last year has been to start to define some of the underlying goals and metrics that we should be advancing as an organization. And so we have been building that roadmap, that framework of measurement. We're busy collecting data to develop our first year's baseline. We'll probably tweak and refine as we go, as we get a little better at it. I think purpose measurement, well, I don't think I know, it's pretty new. So we're kind of pioneering it. It's a new way of driving impact and being able to report on your progress transparently with your members. So we're looking forward to publishing more on our purpose measurement in the next year. It'll be about a year from now when we have all that sort of initial set of data collected.
That's incredible. And I agree. There's so much work to be done in this space. Like I really salute my remarkable colleague, Kate Ruff, and her team at Common Approach Impact Measurements. There's so much work being done in this space. But once again, the only way that we can actually, I'm sure, improve this work and the impact is through measurements. And I think that the work that your team's doing around just setting up KPIs and OKRs around purpose is such great innovation. And you're leading by example. So that's absolutely remarkable. So my last question, do you have any closing thoughts or calls to action for our listeners and our viewers?
Well, I think that we all have an opportunity to really examine all of the relationships that we have as individuals, as businesses, as nonprofit organizations, to really think intentionally about where we want to direct our business to support the, or contribute to the solutions that we need in the country. And so, think about, where you buy your products from, think about your own footprint, think about, who is doing good work in the space and share best practices. This is the time for all of us to roll up the sleeves and really work together in a intentional way, because the traditional way of doing business has not served us well. So it's time for a change.
Ashe, I couldn't agree more. Madasi Papa, thank you so much for your leadership, your candor, your tenacity, but most importantly, your authenticity that you brought to this conversation and all the work that you do for so many, Maureen. I really appreciate you. And as always at SETC, we close all conversations and interviews by once again giving thanks to our creator, acknowledging and giving thanks to the original stewards of the various lands around. We acknowledge all our ancestors, all those who toiled without compassion or compensation. We acknowledge all our elders and community stalwarts whose shoulders we stand on as we build, share, and learn together for our collective liberation and sovereignty. Thank you so much. I so appreciate you, Maureen.
Thank you, Victor.